Welcome to my YouTube channel. I am your entrepreneurship tutor, Professor Henry Bwiz of Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology in Kenya. Yes, on my screen you can see the Governor of Embu, Governor Cecil Mbarire. This is my subject today. But before I do that, let me give you an economics joke. Economists are dangerous. You see, it is joked. They are armed with an invisible hand given to them by Adam Smith. And therefore, I want to talk about the economics in Governor Cecil Mbarire's talk at a recent conference on coffee. But before I do that, let me talk about the invisible hand. It is the economics and observable market force that is thought to help the demand and supply of goods in a free market to reach equilibrium automatically. Like, if there is a great supply, then the hand, in quotes, will cause low demand, and vice versa. The invisible hand was proposed by Adam Smith. There is often referred to as the father of modern economics. Now, let's look at this supply, law of demand and supply. You are looking at a graph. On the vertical axis is price and horizontal axis quantity. So, when there is very high price, then the quantity that is bought, the quantity demanded is very low. High prices lead to low purchases. But when the prices get low, then more is bought, more is demanded. And what have we done? We have actually drawn our demand curve. The law of demand says the higher the price, the lower the quantity demanded, and vice versa. And somewhere in small print, in italics, you'll read that phrase, ceteris paribus. Same graph, price, quantity. Now, when prices are high, the suppliers are happy. Smile all the way to the market. A lot is supplied. But when the prices fall low, they frown. Suppliers frown. They don't go to the low quantity supply. What we have done, we have actually now drawn the supply curve. And the law of supply says the higher the price, the higher the quantity supplied, and vice versa. Again, ceteris paribus. Now, let's superimpose the two curves. Demand curve in red, supply curve in purple. When there is high price, the demand is low, buyers are few, but sellers are many. So the market is flooded with sellers. Sellers will want to sell their things, yet there are only few buyers. So they will start lowering the price so that more sellers can buy. And when that price reaches a certain low minimum, then the suppliers frown, might even take back their goods. But because the price is low, the demand is very high. And therefore, prices will start coming up. What are we creating? There is an intersection of the supply and the demand curve. And that is the behavior. High prices, the market forces, the invisible hand will lower it. Low prices, the market forces, the invisible hand will raise it. And we shall reach what we call equilibrium price, equilibrium quantity. That is what economics teaches. But it also teaches, ceteris paribus, holding all other things constant. Some of those things are this. First of all, for this to happen, there have been many, many buyers. and many sellers, which is not in a reality. In real, we have either many buyers and a few sellers, or a few sellers and many buyers, and vice versa. We don't have, take anything, like how many buyers are there and how many supermarkets are there in a town? You know, entry barriers. This condition think that anybody wants to do business in one sector is not hindered. But there are all those natural and even artificial barriers. Startup costs can be so prohibitive that only few people will be able to enter certain sector, and therefore very few sellers emerge. Perfect knowledge of the market. It assumes the sellers, the buyers, have perfect knowledge about the market. It never happens that way. For example, farmers, maize farmers, they don't have perfect knowledge. Neither do coffee farmers. That is when the middleman or the cartels come in, because they have better knowledge about the market. Homogeneity. That a product or a service that is being sold must be homogeneous. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen. Entrepreneurship teaches about creativity and innovation. Every entrepreneur would want their product to stand out, so they differentiate the products. Product differentiation comes in. Therefore, that rule of homogeneity doesn't apply. And if it doesn't, it has broken that law. Friction-free. I can wake up in Nairobi and freely go to sell in Mombasa. Movement, transport. Unfortunately, that's not the case. It's not friction-free movement. Incomes of the buyers remain constant. Not really. Incomes change. Tastes remain constant. No. Tastes change. You know, the prices of substitutes remain constant. No, they change. Or the population remains constant. No, population keeps growing. So what are we saying? All these conditions that must hold for the equilibrium price to hold are not realistic. They are changing in any case. We know that the only constant thing in this world is change. And therefore, this model that we are seeing here remains in the classroom, remains in textbooks, remains in examination rooms to test the knowledge of economic students. But when you come out in the world, things are different. And that is what Governor Cecily Mbarire talked about at the conference. Let's listen to her.
Not a question. I just want to add my voice because I feel we know the problem and we know where we want to get. And being a child of coffee, educated with coffee, I want to get to the bottom of it without missing words. One, our coffee sector is predominantly 3 companies. And I'll mention them. I don't know why we don't want to mention them. We have Newman, we have Econ, and Sukafina. Or is it Sukafina, something like that. They mill in the following companies. Newman has a milling company called NKG Coffee Mill. Ecom has a milling company called Central Kenya Coffee Mill. Sukafina has Kahawa Bora Millers. And Ecom again has another one called CMS Mills Limited. The same companies transform themselves into marketers. Ecom has a marketing company called Coffee Management Services. Newman has a marketing company called Tropical Farm Management. Sukafina has one called Suka Sustainability. Ecom has another one called Oaklands Coffee Management. Ecom has another one called Sustainability Management. Then they move ahead and become buyers. Newman has one called Ibero. a buyer. Ecom has one called C. Doman. Sukafina has Kenya Cough Limited. Now, if we don't deal with those cartels, because those are the cartels we are talking about, we will be wasting 2 days here pretending, talking, going round, and we are not mentioning those names. I have mentioned them. Let me see what happens to me today. It's about time we face those people on the face and tell them enough is enough. So stop going around these stories. And they come every time key ministers are appointed. All they do is go to them, and I'm very happy these ones have said no. Go to them with briefcases with dollars. And then they stop taking care of the farmers. So today I want to know, are we dealing with these cartels or not? And if we are dealing with them, how? How are we dealing with these cartels? Because let me tell you, we cannot continue to lead farmers who are suffering, not because they don't work hard, because we have cartels who have taken over even those cooperative societies. They make sure these cooperative societies never work. When there are elections, their chairmen, they prefer, they finance them, they give them money to take their coffee to be milled in their milling companies. We must deal with them squarely. And that is what I want to hear happening today. Otherwise, mutuambie hatuwezi, na muambie deputy president hamwezi, tutoke twende. Na tusidanganyane hapa. This is a problem. Let us face it today.
Yes. Listening to Governor Barire, she's talking about cartels, a few buyers. Yes. By 2019, estimated 800,000 Kenyan farmers, 70% of them smallholders, 30% of them women, were involved in coffee farming. So you can see the buyers are very many. The producers are very many. The buyers are very few. And that's what Governor Limber is talking about. That more are fleeced or dictated upon by few. Talks about cartels. But then, really, what's a cartel? In economics, a cartel is an agreement between companies in the same industry to fix prices, limit production, and divide up markets. By working together, cartels can eliminate competition and raise prices, meaning there's no perfect competition. This can have a major impact on the economy as it can lead to higher prices for consumers and less choice. Farms forming a cartel may come together to control the amount of output they produce. Limiting the supply of the product or service is done deliberately as it will drive up the price. Let's look at this. Here are 3 people forming a cartel. Number 1, A, says, let's get together to increase price of the product all at once. Number B agrees. This is better because we would not have to force ourselves to compete with each other, eliminating competition, which is the perfect competition. And number C agrees further. That's a good idea. In this way, we can make larger profit. So what I'm talking about, that supplier A, supplier B, supplier C, they all agree to come together with the aim of controlling prices, competition. That is a cartel. That is what Governor Limber was talking about. So, the invisible hand taught in economics will not equilibrate prices, particularly in agriculture sector in Kenya. Government intervention will. Well, happy that at the end of the conference in Embu, the government was to revoke licenses of cartels in the coal sector, reported by the Standard, reported by the Nation. And it's not the first time. The government is all aware, even to the advent to the presidency. Honorable Dr. Ruto, who is the current president, was very much aware of elimination of cartels, brokers, and unfair business was on his lips. And therefore, let us not hide behind law of demand and supply, because that law of demand and supply equilibrating the price is strong on paper and very weak in reality. We cannot really expect that there will be free, fair competition, since the conditions that are supposed to be held constant are never constant. So, if you liked it, if you enjoyed it, please like it. Please share it. Knowledge must be shared. And subscribe so that you can be alerted whenever I post on, and really you'll be helping me as to bring you more. And please leave a comment. So thank you very much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being my follower.